Why rebounds feel like true love until they don't. Have you ever fallen for someone right after a breakup and thought, this might be it, this feels different, this feels real? Only to wake up weeks later wondering, was any of it actually love? You're not alone. Rebound relationships can feel like lightning in a bottle, intense, passionate, healing, but then they crack. And what felt like true love suddenly feels like a lie. So why does this happen? Why do rebounds feel so right until they absolutely don't? Let's talk about it. Today, we're diving into one of the most confusing experiences in modern dating rebound relationships. Why do they feel so powerful, so promising, and then suddenly collapse? We'll break down the psychology, the science, and the emotional roller coaster behind it all. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why rebounds feel like true love until they don't. Let's get into it. First, what exactly is a rebound relationship? It's when someone jumps into a new romance shortly after a breakup, often before they've had time to truly heal. It's not just a fling, it feels like a real connection. Sometimes even more intense than the last one. But underneath, it's often a way to escape heartbreak, to distract from pain, to avoid being alone. Some people seek validation, some chase the comfort of routine, others want to prove something, to themselves or to an ex. Whatever the reason, the rebound becomes a kind of emotional bandage. And that's where the illusion begins. You're heartbroken, confused, feeling like the emptiest version of yourself. Then suddenly someone new walks in, they smile, they listen, they care. And you feel alive again. The pain fades, your chest feels lighter, and it's so easy to believe, this is love. But here's what's really happening. And it's not just emotional, it's biological. When you go from heartbreak to new romance, your brain gets flooded with dopamine and oxytocin. The same chemicals released during love, sex, and emotional bonding, that rush of pleasure and connection, it's real. But it's also happening in the same part of your brain that lights up when you're in withdrawal, and then suddenly get your fix. A new partner feels like relief, like a cure, like the answer to every ache you've carried, and that feeling is intoxicating. Then there's infatuation, and in rebounds it's often stronger than usual. Why? Because you're craving something intense enough to drown out the hurt, and when someone shows up at just the right time, they don't just seem attractive, they feel like a lifeline. Everything about them is magnified. Their smile feels like magic. Their texts feel like purpose. Their attention feels like proof that you're still lovable. Now here's the kicker. You're not just falling for them, you might be falling for the escape they represent, a way out of pain, a shortcut to healing. So what do? We idealize them. We paint them as the opposite of our ex. We project our hopes, our needs, our unfinished story onto someone brand new. If my ex ignored me, this person's attention feels like a miracle. If my last relationship lacked passion, this heat must mean it's the real thing. But maybe, just maybe, what we're seeing isn't the person. It's the fantasy of what we wish love could be. And let's not forget the power of hope. When you're heartbroken, there's one thing you want more than anything. Proof that love still exists, that you're not broken, that someone can still choose you. Rebounds offer that proof instantly. They fill the silence, they soothe the insecurity, they whisper, you're still worthy. And for a little while, that hope feels like truth. Put it all together, the chemical high, the infatuation, the idealization, the hope, and you've got something incredibly powerful. It feels like love, it moves like love, it looks like love. But that doesn't mean it is love. Not yet. Because real love needs time, it needs vulnerability, it needs truth, not just timing. And rebounds often skip those steps. They rush to the feeling before the foundation is even built. That's why they can feel so right, until suddenly they don't. At first everything feels perfect, but then cracks begin to show. What felt deep suddenly feels shallow. What seemed effortless starts to feel forced. Because, many rebound relationships are built on emotional quicksand, pain, insecurity, or fear of being alone, not true compatibility. You might be close physically, maybe even living in each other's pockets, but emotionally, there's distance. The intimacy isn't grounded in real vulnerability. The new partner might start to feel like a stand-in, noticed in subtle ways, like being compared to the ex, or feeling like your connection is only surface level, and no matter how fast you run, you can't outrun grief. Eventually, the past catches up, old emotions resurface, lingering feelings, anger, regret, and the once glorious high of the rebound starts to crash. It doesn't mean you never cared, it means the relationship was serving a different purpose to help you feel something again, and now, that need has changed. When a rebound relationship ends, it doesn't just sting, it crushes. And for many people, The pain is even worse than the original breakup that started it all. Why? Because the rebound wasn't just a relationship, it was a lifeline. You pinned your hope on it. You told yourself, this is the proof that I'm okay. This is my way out of the heartbreak. This is love, finally. So when that crumbles, it's not just one loss, it's two. The new partner. And the illusion that you had already healed. You start questioning everything. Was any of it real? Was I just desperate? How could I fall for someone so fast and feel so empty now? That's emotional whiplash, the swing from true love to total confusion, from high highs to low lows. And it leaves a mark. Some people start to doubt their own judgment. They wonder if they'll ever know what real love even is again. Then there's the other side. The person who unknowingly became the rebound. Maybe they really liked you, maybe they were ready for something real, but to them, it slowly starts to feel off. You still talk about your ex, you pull away emotionally, you can't quite meet them in the middle. Eventually, they realize they were a placeholder, someone to help you forget, not someone you were ready to truly love. And that realization hurts. It makes people feel disposable, like they were just part of your healing plan, not part of your future. And if you don't process any of this, you repeat the cycle. Rebound after rebound. Each one a new distraction. Each one delaying the healing that still hasn't happened. You tell yourself, I just need someone to make me feel better. But no one can do that for you. Not for long. Because pain ignored is pain postponed. And the rebound high always fades. Worse still, some people get stuck in this pattern forever. They bounce from person to person, not out of love, but out of fear. Fear of loneliness, fear of stillness, fear of facing the truth. And the longer it goes on, the harder it becomes to build something real. Because every new relationship is just another escape, not a commitment. So what's the cost of not healing? You might numb the heartbreak, but you'll also numb your ability to connect, to be vulnerable, to love someone from a whole place, not just a wounded one. And that's the real fallout. Not just losing a partner, but losing yourself in the process. You've heard the warnings, rebounds never last, it's just a phase, they're not ready, run. But is that always true? The answer is, not exactly. Rebound relationships often fail, yes. They're rushed, emotionally fragile, and built on shaky ground. But that doesn't mean every rebound is destined to crash and burn, because not all rebounds are created equal. Sometimes, the timing is off, but the connection is real. Two people meet at a moment of transition. One of them is still healing, still vulnerable. But despite that, they're honest, self-aware, and open. If both people communicate clearly, if they understand the emotional risks and choose to move forward mindfully, a rebound can become something solid. Not because it started perfect, but because they were willing to grow through the mess. There's even research to back this up. Studies have shown that people who start new relationships shortly after a breakup sometimes report higher self-esteem, greater emotional closure, and even long-term success, if the new relationship is treated with care. In other words, a rebound can act as a reset, not just a relapse. But here's the catch. Most rebounds aren't built with honesty, they're built with urgency. People use them to escape, to avoid, to feel wanted again, without really opening their hearts. That's why most of them fade, not because the people were bad, but because they were never ready. They were chasing comfort, not connection. So no, rebounds aren't always doomed, but they are dangerous when handled carelessly. They require emotional maturity, brutal honesty, willingness to move slowly, and a deep respect for each other's healing. Without those, the odds drop fast. So if you're in one now, ask yourself, is this person here because they want me, or because they want someone? Are we building something real or just hiding in each other? If it's the first, there might be hope. If it's the second, you already know the answer. How do you know if what you're feeling is love, or just a rebound in disguise? Sometimes the signs are obvious. Other times, they're hiding in plain sight. Let's break it down. 1. It started right after a breakup. You or your partner just got out of something serious, and days or weeks later you're in a new relationship. That's not always a red flag, but it is a flashing yellow light. If there was no time to grieve, reflect, or even breathe, chances are the new connection is more about distraction than real bonding. 2 things are moving too fast. You said I love you within 2 weeks. You're already talking about meeting parents, moving in, taking trips together, but you barely know each other's middle names. Fast pacing can feel romantic, but it often masks anxiety, the need to recreate the comfort or intensity of a lost relationship. 3. The ex is still in the picture, even if they're not around. Do they talk about their ex constantly? Do they compare you to them, whether it's you're so much better or my ex used to do that, or maybe they avoid the topic entirely, and when it comes up, they shut down. Either way, the ex is present, emotionally, mentally, or through silent weight in the room. In a healthy new relationship, the ex is a memory, not a shadow you can't escape. 4. You feel like you're part of a performance. Does your partner post couple photos a little too eagerly? Are they overly concerned with how the relationship looks, especially to their ex? Sometimes people use the new partner to prove a point, to make their ex jealous, to win the breakup. If it feels like you're a pawn in someone else's story, you probably are. 5. There's physical closeness, but emotional distance. You laugh, you hook up, you go out, but when it's quiet, when it's time to talk about real things, they dodge, they change the subject, they shut down. They love the comfort of having someone, but they're not fully present with you. 6. The relationship feels one-sided. You give, you ask questions, you show interest, and they don't. They forget what you said last week. They rarely ask about your past, your dreams, your fears. It's like they enjoy having someone there, but they don't really care who. You could swap yourself out, and the relationship would still feel the same. That's not love, that's filling a gap. 7. Your gut says something's off. This might be the most important one. Even if everything looks good on the surface, your intuition whispers, this doesn't feel right. You feel anxious, you feel like you're chasing, you feel like something is missing, but you can't explain what. Don't ignore that voice, it's trying to protect you. No single sign confirms it's a rebound. But if you're seeing multiple red flags, you owe it to yourself to pause, reflect, and ask the hard question, am I really connecting with this person, or am I just trying not to feel alone? So you've taken a step back, and something inside you says, this might be a rebound. Now what? The truth is, realizing you're in a rebound situation isn't a disaster, it's an opportunity to step out of autopilot and into clarity. If you're the one doing the rebounding, 1. Be honest with yourself. Ask the hard questions. Would I be this into this person if I wasn't hurting? Am I truly connecting or just avoiding my own pain? You don't have to know all the answers, but asking is the first step toward real healing. 2. Slow down. The urgency you feel, that rush to define the relationship, post the pictures, say I love you, that's often fear in disguise, fear of being alone, fear of sitting with your feelings. Give the relationship space to prove itself. Love doesn't need to sprint. If it's real, it'll survive the slowdown. 3. Be transparent. You don't have to dump all your emotional baggage on the table, but you do owe the other person honesty. Say something like, I care about you, but I'm still in a place of healing. I want to take things slowly and be real with where I'm at. The right person will respect that. The wrong one will pressure you. That alone will tell you what you need to know. 4. Don't abandon yourself in the process. Rebounds can become cocoons. You stop seeing friends, stop journaling, stop being alone, that's dangerous. Make time for your own thoughts. See a therapist. Talk to someone who knew you before this, because no relationship should be your entire emotional survival plan. 5. Feel what you tried to bury. If the relationship is numbing your pain, you're not healing, you're delaying. Carve out space to cry, to reflect on your past relationship, to grieve the version of you that loved and lost. Only by feeling it can you release it. If you think you're the rebound, 1. Protect your heart but don't panic. Just because someone's fresh out of a breakup doesn't mean they're using you, but stay aware. Rebounds feel amazing, until they don't. Let the relationship unfold slowly. Guard your emotions until you see consistency over time. 2. Ask direct questions. You're allowed to say, are you ready for this? Do you feel like you've fully processed your last relationship? If they dodge, dismiss, or give vague answers, listen to that. Clarity isn't rude, it's respectful. 3. Set boundaries. If they keep bringing up their ex, say something. If they move too fast emotionally, pump the brakes. You're not there to be someone's emotional painkiller. You're a whole person, not a rebound prescription. 4. Don't lose yourself trying to be enough. It's not your job to heal them. It's not your job to prove that you're better than their ex. It's not your job to fix anyone. Love that lasts comes from mutual readiness, not from being someone's emotional rehab center. 5. Prepare to walk away if you need to. Hope is beautiful, but don't hang on to a relationship that's hollow beneath the surface. Have a plan. Ask yourself, if this ends, how will I take care of myself? Because sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is walk away from love that isn't real yet. Rebound relationships are intense. They're fast, emotional, messy, and for a while, they feel like everything. They feel like healing. They feel like hope. They feel like love. But the truth is, what they feel like and what they are aren't always the same thing. Rebounds happen when our hearts are still bleeding, and we rush to cover the wound with someone new, and sometimes that person becomes a lesson. Not a forever, not a mistake, but a moment that teaches us what we still need to face. Because real love, lasting love, doesn't come to rescue you from your pain. It comes when you've rescued yourself. You don't have to regret your rebound. You don't have to hate the person it was with. Sometimes it was exactly what you needed at the time, a reminder that your heart could still feel, even if it wasn't ready to trust. But now you know better. You know the difference between intensity and intimacy, between distraction and connection, between needing someone and choosing them. So whether you're fresh out of a breakup, in the middle of a rebound, or still aching from one that ended, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, am I ready to build something real? Or am I just afraid to be alone? There's no shame in wanting to be loved. But the love that lasts isn't the one that rushes in to fill a void. It's the one that walks in when you are already full and chooses to stay. True love isn't a rescue, it's a partnership, a conscious choice, a steady, growing fire, not just a flash in the dark. And when it finds you, you won't feel like you're escaping something. You'll feel like you're coming home. Let's keep this conversation going. Like this video, drop a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.